Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Native Speakers Channel. I'm Johnny, and as always, I'm here with my co-host, Sarah. How are you doing today, Sarah?
Hey, Johnny. Hey, everyone. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. I'm really excited about today's episode.
Me too. So for those of you who are new here, welcome to our Easy English podcast. We create these conversations to help you improve your English listening and speaking skills in a natural, relaxed way. Today, we have a super practical topic that many of you have requested.
That's right. Today, we're talking about job interview practice, common questions and answers. This is such an important topic, especially if you're learning English and looking for a job in an English-speaking country, or even if you just want to work for an international company.
Exactly. Job interviews can be stressful enough in your native language, but doing them in English, that's a whole different level of challenge. So today, Sarah and I are going to go through the most common interview questions, discuss how to answer them, and give you lots of useful vocabulary and phrases.
And we'll keep things simple and easy to understand, just like we always do. So grab a cup of coffee or tea, get comfortable, and let's dive into it.
All right, Sarah, so let's start from the beginning. I think the first thing we should talk about is preparation. What should someone do before a job interview?
Great question. Preparation is absolutely key. I always tell people that preparing for an interview is just as important as the interview itself. First, you need to research the company, learn about what they do, their values, their mission, and recent news about them.
That's so true. I remember when I was interviewing for my current job, I spent hours reading about the company. I looked at their website, their social media, and even news articles about them. It really helped me feel more confident.
And that confidence shows during the interview. Interviewers can tell when someone has done their homework. It shows you're genuinely interested in the position, not just looking for any job.
Right. Another thing I'd recommend is preparing your answers to common questions. We'll go through those today, but practice is essential. You can practice in front of a mirror, record yourself, or even practice with a friend.
Oh, practicing with a friend is excellent advice. You can do mock interviews where your friend asks you questions and you practice answering them. It helps you get used to thinking on your feet.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk about the most common question you'll hear in almost every interview. Sarah, what would you say is the number one most common interview question?
That's easy. Tell me about yourself. This is almost always the first question in an interview, and it's actually one of the trickiest ones.
It is tricky. It sounds simple, but many people don't know how to answer it properly. What's the best approach?
Well, the key is to keep it professional and relevant. Don't talk about your entire life story, and don't talk too much about your personal life. Instead, give a brief overview of your professional background, your skills, and why you're interested in this particular position.
Can you give us an example of a good answer?
Sure, here's an example. I'm a marketing professional with 5 years of experience in digital marketing. I've worked mainly in the tech industry, where I've developed skills in social media management, content creation, and data analysis. I'm particularly passionate about creating engaging content that connects with audiences. I'm excited about this position because your company is known for innovative marketing campaigns, and I'd love to contribute my skills to your team.
That's perfect. It's concise, professional, and it connects your experience to the job you're applying for. I like how you ended it by showing enthusiasm for the company.
Thanks. The ending is crucial. You always want to connect your answer back to why you want to work for that specific company. It shows you're not just reading from a script.
Good point. Now, the next common question is usually about your strengths. What are your greatest strengths? How should someone approach this question?
This is your chance to shine, but you need to be strategic. Choose strengths that are relevant to the job you're applying for. And here's a pro tip. Don't just list your strengths, give examples that demonstrate them.
Examples are so important. Can you show us what you mean?
Of course. Instead of just saying, I'm a good communicator, you could say, one of my greatest strengths is communication. In my previous role, I regularly presented project updates to senior management and collaborated with team members across different departments. My ability to explain complex ideas clearly helped our team complete projects more efficiently and reduce misunderstandings.
I love that. You're not just claiming to be a good communicator, you're proving it with a real example from your work experience.
Exactly. Always back up your claims with evidence. It makes your answer much more convincing and memorable.
Now, let's talk about the question that many people dread. What are your weaknesses? This one makes a lot of people nervous.
Oh, this is definitely a tough one. The trick is to be honest, but strategic. You want to mention a real weakness, not fake ones like I work too hard or I'm too much of a perfectionist. Interviewers can see right through those answers.
Right, those cliché answers don't work anymore. So what's a better approach?
Well, choose a real weakness that you're actively working to improve, and most importantly, explain what you're doing to overcome it. Here's an example. I used to struggle with public speaking, which made presentations challenging. However, I recognized this was holding me back professionally, so I joined a Toastmasters club last year. I've been practicing regularly, and I've already seen significant improvement. I recently presented at a department meeting with positive feedback from my manager.
That's brilliant. You're showing self-awareness, taking responsibility, and demonstrating that you're proactive about personal development. Those are all qualities employers value.
Absolutely. The key is to show that you're aware of your weaknesses and you're taking concrete steps to improve them. That actually turns a potential negative into a positive.
Great advice. Now, another very common question is, why do you want to work here? Or why are you interested in this position? What's the best way to answer?
This is where your research about the company really pays off. You need to show that you've done your homework and that you have genuine reasons for wanting to work there. Don't just talk about what the company can do for you, talk about what you can contribute to the company.
Can you give us a good example answer?
Sure. I've been following your company for the past year, and I'm impressed by your commitment to sustainability and innovation. I saw that you recently launched an eco-friendly product line, which aligns perfectly with my values and my background in sustainable design. I believe my experience in green technology and my passion for environmental responsibility would make me a valuable addition to your team. I'm excited about the possibility of contributing to your mission while growing professionally in an industry I care deeply about.
Perfect. You mentioned specific things about the company, connected them to your own values and experience, and showed enthusiasm. That's exactly what interviewers want to hear.
Right. It shows you're not just looking for any job, you specifically want to work for their company. That makes you a much more attractive candidate.
Now, let's talk about questions regarding experience. A common one is, tell me about your previous work experience, or walk me through your resume. How should someone handle this?
This is your opportunity to tell your professional story. Don't just read your resume to them, they already have it. Instead, highlight the most relevant experiences and explain how each role helped you develop skills that are valuable for the position you're applying for.
So it's about connecting the dots between your past and the future role.
Exactly. For example, if you're applying for a project management position, you might say, I started my career as a junior coordinator at XYZ company, where I learned the basics of project organization and time management. After 2 years, I moved to ABC Corporation as a team leader, which gave me experience managing small teams and budgets. Most recently, I've been working as an assistant project manager, where I've overseen projects with budgets up to $500,000 and teams up to 15 people. Each role has built upon the previous one, and I feel well prepared to take on the responsibilities of a full project manager.
That's excellent. You're showing a clear progression and explaining how each experience prepared you for the next step. It tells a coherent story rather than just being a list of jobs.
Yes, and that narrative approach is much more engaging and memorable for the interviewer.
Great. Now, what about behavioral questions? These are the ones that start with, tell me about a time when. They're becoming more and more common in interviews.
Oh, yes, behavioral questions. These are designed to understand how you've handled situations in the past, which supposedly predicts how you'll handle them in the future. Common ones include, tell me about a time when you faced a challenge at work, or describe a situation where you had to work with a difficult colleague.
These can be tough because you need specific examples ready. What's the best way to prepare for them?
I recommend using the STAR method. STAR stands for situation, task, action, and result. Let me break it down. Situation, describe the context and background. Task, explain what needs to be done. Action, detail the specific actions you took. Result, share the outcome and what you learned.
Can you walk us through an example using the STAR method?
Absolutely. Let's say the question is, tell me about a time when you had to meet a tight deadline. Here's a STAR answer. Situation. In my previous role as a content writer, we had a client who requested a complete website redesign with all new content. The original timeline was 6 weeks, but due to their business needs, they moved up the launch date, giving us only 3 weeks. Task. As the lead writer, I was responsible for creating content for 20 web pages, including the homepage, service pages, and blog posts. I needed to maintain quality while meeting the new deadline. Action. I immediately reorganized my schedule and prioritized tasks based on importance. I communicated with the design team to ensure we were aligned. I also broke down the work into smaller, manageable chunks and set daily goals. I worked extra hours when needed and stayed in constant communication with the client to ensure we were meeting their expectations. Result: we delivered all the content 2 days before the deadline. The client was extremely happy with the quality and our professionalism. This project actually led to them hiring us for 3 additional projects, increasing our revenue by 30%.
Wow, that's a comprehensive answer. You covered all 4 elements of STAR, and you ended with a quantifiable result. That's really impressive.
Thanks. The key is to practice these stories beforehand. Think of different situations from your work history that demonstrate different skills: problem solving, teamwork, leadership, creativity, handling pressure, dealing with conflict, etc.
That's smart. Prepare several stories so you're ready for different questions. Now, what about the question, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
The classic future-oriented question. This one trips people up because they're not sure how ambitious they should sound. The key is to show ambition and career goals while also showing commitment to the company you're interviewing with.
What would be a good answer?
Something like, in 5 years, I see myself having grown significantly in my role here. I hope to have become an expert in specific area relevant to the job and potentially taken on more leadership responsibilities. I'm excited about the possibility of contributing to major projects and mentoring junior team members. I'm looking for a company where I can build a long-term career. And from what I've learned about your organization, I believe this could be that place.
Nice. You're showing ambition, but also loyalty. You're not saying you plan to leave in 2 years, but you're also not saying you want to be in the same position. It's a good balance.
Exactly. You want to show you're thinking about your career development, but within the context of the company you're interviewing with.
Now, let's talk about salary questions. This is often an uncomfortable topic. Questions like, what are your salary expectations, can be tricky.
Oh yes, salary negotiation is a whole skill in itself. The best approach is to research salary ranges for similar positions in your area before the interview. Websites like Glassdoor, LinkedIn Salary, or PayScale can help with this.
And what if they ask you directly about your expectations early in the interview?
If possible, try to defer the conversation until later. You could say, I'd prefer to learn more about the role and responsibilities before discussing salary. Could we revisit this once we've discussed if I'm a good fit for the position? But if they insist, give a range based on your research. For example, based on my research and my experience level, I'm looking for something in the range of $60,000 to $70,000, but I'm flexible depending on the overall compensation package and benefits.
Good point about mentioning the overall package. Sometimes benefits, bonuses, or other perks can be just as valuable as base salary.
Absolutely. And remember, negotiation is normal and expected. Don't be afraid to negotiate, but do it professionally and with data to back up your request.
Great advice. Now, towards the end of most interviews, they usually ask, "Do you have any questions for us?" This is actually a really important moment. What should candidates ask?
This is your chance to show you're seriously interested and thinking critically about the role. Never say, "No, I don't have any questions." That suggests you're not really engaged. Always prepare at least 3 to 5 questions beforehand.
What are some good questions to ask?
Here are some excellent ones. Can you tell me more about the day-to-day responsibilities of this role? What does success look like in this position after 6 months and 1 year? Can you describe the team I'd be working with? What are the biggest challenges facing the department right now? What opportunities are there for professional development and growth? What's the company culture like? What are the next steps in the interview process?
Those are all great. They show you're thinking about how you'd fit into the role and the company, and they give you valuable information to help you decide if the job is right for you.
Exactly. The interview is a two-way street. You're evaluating them just as much as they're evaluating you.
That's such an important point. Now, before we wrap up, let's talk about some general tips for interview success. What advice would you give someone preparing for an interview?
Oh, I have so many tips. First, dress appropriately. When in doubt, it's better to be slightly overdressed than underdressed. Business casual is usually safe, but research the company culture.
Good point. Some tech companies are very casual, while law firms or banks might expect more formal attire.
Right. Second, arrive early. I recommend getting there 10 to 15 minutes before your scheduled time. It shows punctuality and gives you time to compose yourself. Being late, even by a few minutes, makes a terrible first impression.
Absolutely. And if you're doing a video interview, test your technology beforehand.
Yes, make sure your camera works, your audio is clear, and you have a professional background. Also, look at the camera, not the screen, to maintain eye contact.
Good tip. What about body language?
Body language is crucial. Sit up straight, make eye contact, smile, and give a firm handshake. These nonverbal cues communicate confidence and professionalism. Avoid crossing your arms, fidgeting, or looking at your phone.
And speaking of phones, definitely turn it off or put it on silent before the interview starts.
Oh yes, absolutely. Nothing is more unprofessional than your phone ringing during an interview. Another tip, bring extra copies of your resume, even if you've already emailed it. Also, bring a notepad and pen to take notes. It shows you're organized and serious.
Great advice. And what about after the interview?
Always send a thank you email within 24 hours. Thank them for their time, reiterate your interest in the position, and briefly mention something specific from the conversation. This keeps you fresh in their mind and shows professionalism.
Perfect. I think we've covered so much valuable information today. Sarah, any final thoughts for our listeners?
Just remember, everyone gets nervous before interviews. That's completely normal. The key is preparation. Practice your answers, research the company, prepare questions to ask, and remember to be yourself. Authenticity matters. Interviewers want to see the real you, not a robotic version trying to give perfect answers.
That's wonderful advice. Be prepared, but also be genuine. And remember, the more interviews you do, the more comfortable you'll become. It's a skill that improves with practice.
Exactly. Don't be discouraged if you don't get the first job you interview for. Each interview is a learning experience that helps you improve for the next one.
Well, I think that's a great place to wrap up today's episode. Thank you so much for joining us on Native Speakers Channel. If you found this helpful, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share it with anyone who might benefit from it.
And let us know in the comments what other topics you'd like us to cover in future episodes. We love hearing from you.
Until next time, keep practicing your English, stay confident, and good luck with your job interviews.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.